What's up guys? Today we're going to be looking at what's inside my camera bag for 2019. So it's summertime and next week I'm going to be traveling actually to go see my parents and a few other things. I've had a lot of people ask me what camera I use for my photos and videos. I've also had people ask me what lenses I'm using for different photos, like on my Instagram or on YouTube. So I figured I would make an in the bag video for 2019 to kind of share some of the things that I use, but also to see how my bag changes throughout the years. I think it would be cool to look back maybe in a year or two and just see how my bag has changed, what gear I've added. So let's start with what I'm using for my actual bag. I used to use a side bag for my camera, but I wanted a camera backpack because I feel like that would be easier for my shoulders and it would be a lot more versatile and have a bit more space than a side bag. So I chose the Lowepro Pro Tactic 450 AW for all weather. I really like this bag. It has really comfortable padding on the back of it, and it has a rain cover that is stored at the bottom of the bag to protect it against rain and that kind of thing, which is really cool. I like how spacious this bag is. I like how there are so many different compartments and you can customize this bag however you'd like. You can move around the different dividers to kind of fit your needs for the bag. So my primary camera is the Canon EOS 60 Mark II, which is what I'm using to film this right now actually. I really like this camera because it has a 26.2 megapixel full frame sensor, and I really like the articulated full-B screen that makes vlogging and filming yourself a lot easier. The 60 does not shoot 4K, but it does shoot 60 frames per second in 1080. Battery is awesome. When I bought this camera, it came with a battery grip, which holds 2 batteries at once, which makes the camera last even longer and adds another shutter for shooting portraits, which I really like. I also like how it has a touchscreen and Wi-Fi capabilities. My backup camera is actually the Canon EOS Rebel T5. This is actually the first interchangeable lens DSLR that I ever bought, and I got it in high school when I really started getting into photography. Since then, I've taken it to the other side of the world. It does have an 18 megapixel APS-C cropped sensor, so that means that it is a 1.6 times crop. If you were to put a 50 millimeter lens on this camera, it would really be 80 millimeters. I keep this in my bag kind of as a backup. I don't use it as much, but if I'm shooting an event and something happens with my 6D, or maybe I want to set up my 6D for a time lapse but also keep shooting, then I have this with me for that. So lenses. To film this right now, I'm actually using the Canon EF 24 to 105 millimeter 3.5 to 5.6 lens at its widest range, 24 millimeters. The aperture can go down to 3.5. When it's zoomed in all the way to 105 millimeters, the aperture can go down to 5.6. I really like this lens because it has image stabilization. It also has STM, or a stepper motor, which makes it a lot faster and quieter, even faster and quieter than the L series lens of the same range. I like how versatile it is. It's the lens I like using for vlogging, and it will probably be my go-to for now. The next lens in my bag is the Canon EF 70-300 f4 5.6. With a 300 millimeter range, it can go a lot farther than the 105. This lens would be super good for like shooting sports. This is what I used in high school when I was on the yearbook team. I would use this for shooting football games, soccer games, that kind of thing. I keep a newer lens cap on it just to block sun glare and to protect the lens. Next, and what has been my go-to lens since I really got into photography, has been the Canon EF 50mm 1.8, also known as the Nifty 50. This lens is great for low light since the aperture can go down to 1.8. It's also super cheap if you're just getting into photography and don't know what kind of lens to get. This would be probably your best bet. I love using this for portraits. With its really fast aperture, you can get a really nice bokeh effect with it. I have a lens hood for this as well, just to protect the lens and to block glare as well. So for my Rebel T5, since it is a crop sensor, it takes Canon EF lenses as well. And so the kit lens that I got with this is the 18-55. As an EF lens, you won't be able to use this with Canon's full frame sensor cameras. This is a lens I mostly use whenever I do pull out the Rebel T5. So for drones, I use the DJI Mavic Pro. I love this drone. It shoots 4K video and 12 megapixel images. The battery lasts about 27 minutes, so you can get a lot of footage, a lot of photos out of that. I love how compact it is. It fits right in my camera bag with the rest of my lenses and bodies. And the gimbal is super stabilized, so you can get some really cool smooth footage with it. So for a travel tripod, I use the Joby GorillaPod 3K kit with the ball head. Most vloggers use the GorillaPods from Joby just because they're so versatile. You can use them in places that you can't use a regular tripod. I like how small it is. I can stick this right inside of my camera bag for travel. The 3K can hold up to 6.6 pounds of weight, so a full frame body and 24-105 plus a microphone on top. This tripod can still handle that, so I really like the 3K. I also carry this Manfrotto mount for cell phones, so you can actually stick this right on your tripod and use your cell phone if you wanted to. I usually use this for time lapses, or if I'm using my camera, I can use my cell phone as a second or third camera if I wanted to. So just a little Manfrotto cell phone mount I keep in my bag. That's pretty handy. So the ProTactic 450 AW is super awesome because the bag has a laptop sleeve that can hold a 15-inch laptop. I have the 2016 13-inch MacBook Pro, and so if I ever want to edit on the go, then that's super handy, and it fits right in my camera bag with everything else. So some other things that I have in my bag, I have the newer NW561 Speedlight. I got these with remote controls so that I can operate them remotely from my camera or from a handheld remote. I keep this in my bag, super handy. If I'm doing event photography like weddings, you definitely need a mount flash for those low light settings. So for my Nifty 50, I actually have a Tiffin UV protector. This protects your lens against scratches, but also UV rays from the sun. So really, I just keep this on the Nifty 50 at all times. I really don't have any reason to take it off ever. And for my 24-105, I have this variable ND filter. This is super good for video when you're vlogging, shooting video. In order to keep the necessary frame rate in harsh light conditions, a variable ND is super handy because you don't have to worry about ruining that shutter speed to frame rate ratio. In my side pouch, I keep a 2 terabyte hard drive. This is the Toshiba Canvio Connect 2. It's always good to keep a hard drive on you just to offload your cards when you need to. I keep all of my photo and video files on this hard drive. So if you're just getting into photography and you're not sure if you're ready to invest in a camera bag, or maybe you're someone that doesn't like carrying a bag that is obviously a camera bag, you want something more subtle. Something that I did even before I got my camera bag was I used camera inserts. So this is the Abe Case QBs 39. What's cool about these is that you can stick them in any bag, backpack, purse, whatever you carry, and you can fit a body, 2 lenses, some SD cards in it. And if you wanted to use a small kit for a day job, you could just stick this in a backpack and carry it with you. Whenever I'm on campus, I usually just keep this at the bottom of my bag with one of my bodies and a lens or two. And what's cool about this and what's cool about Herschel Little America is that I can keep this at the bottom of my bag and put my books or anything else right on top of it. So these are super cool, super handy. If you're not sure if you want to get a camera bag or if you feel like you want to be more subtle about carrying camera equipment, I would definitely recommend some Abe Case QBs. So I am not sponsored by any of these brands. I thought I would just share with you guys the bags that I use and the gear that I use for most jobs or most projects that I work on. So yeah, that's what's in my camera bag for 2019. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like down below, leave a comment. And if you want to see more stuff that I create, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you really want to, you can even turn on the little bell for notifications. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.